The word they used to call white people was honky.
Had somebody call me that last week, yeah.
A white person, though.
No, black person.
Okay, honky, right?
Hilarious. Old black lady.
Old black, you a honky,
yeah,
right? They actually made music called honky tonk. They took the word. They took the word. So they took a word we thought would hurt them, and they go, "Oh, we're gonna make music about that. We're gonna call it honky tonk."
Yeah.
There are no powerful words to really hurt white people's feelings like a derogatory word because they've always been in control. I want to talk about this. This is a news story I saw. People are burning up Teslas.
Yeah.
Like going to Tesla dealerships and burning them up. People always ask me why I still drive 2 Teslas. I love the car.
Yeah.
And my thinking about Tesla is all this madness will be gone in 4 years. So I'm not going to lose money trading in a car that can't even sell anymore just because I don't like the person, what he's doing. And to be honest with you, the technology in Tesla is amazing.
Sure.
Like I can separate, I can separate him doing what here's honest. I don't know what he's doing because I don't watch the news.
Yeah.
So all I know is my car can drive itself and it's great.
Yeah.
And I'm not paying for gas and that's all I care about. Now, as far as burning up the Tesla stop, that's ridiculous. You need to stop. It doesn't make any sense. But this is what I don't like. They're calling it domestic terrorism. It's not domestic terrorism. Domestic terrorism is a person shooting another person. If you want to call burning up a Tesla domestic terrorism, how about when somebody kills another person? Why isn't that domestic terrorism then? But burning up a car at a dealership is domestic terrorism? Yeah. How is that domestic terrorism?
I know.
Terrorism is not the word. Don't use terrorism is getting watered down so much to fit a party's agenda.
Yeah, you're right. Because when Hamas does it, it doesn't have as much sting. You know what I mean? When the Taliban does it, it's like whatever. Look, everything's terrorism.
Is it unlawful? 100%.
Yeah.
Is it wrong? 1,000. Let's not tag terrorism on it. Like I was watching. I work for Nexstar, and they own News Nation, and I guess that's a far right program. I don't know. But I was there. I was doing press, and I was watching them, and they were talking about the Tesla dealerships being burned up, and they were like, "This is domestic terrorism." I go, "Oh my God, no! You're watering down. Like you use the word woke, you start using it doesn't even mean what you made it mean." And now you're taking terrorism and making that word something that it's not either. Stop using these words and watering them down. It's almost like cry wolf. Now, burning up a car is terrorism, because the guy works in the government, is because it's if there were people burning up Fords right now, nobody would say it's terrorism. Why would they say it with a Tesla? Nobody on TV would say it's domestic terrorism if people were burning up Fords, Chevys, Mitsubishis, Hyundais. It's just they're making it political and they're using this word terrorism. Terrorism should be 9/11. That's terrorism. Burning up a few cars on a lot, not terror. Is it wrong? Yes. Unlawful? Yes. Go to jail? Yes. Terrorism? Absolutely not. Your thoughts, sir?
The great comedian Kyledunnigan drives a Tesla, and somebody put a poster on his Tesla the other day. And very nice of them to not spray paint a swastika on the side of it or to smash the windshield, but they put a poster on his a flyer, and it said, "This guy is a Nazi. Sell your car." And when he talked about it, I was laughing because I know Kyle. He's a good dude, and I don't know if you've ever met him, but Kyle is like the most middle of the road, super casual, doesn't care about politics kind of guy. And now all of a sudden he just needs to give up his $20,000 car and go buy a gas guzzler because you don't like the dude. I was like, how like it makes us feel so narcissistic that we are putting the onus on you. As you talked about being able to separate, I want to see people's Spotifys. If there is a Chris Brown track in the last 4 years, you're out, dude.
No, it's 100%. Like, I just think it's a hot button issue and it's political. People are now using cars as politics, but Leo Flowers, he's a great comedian.
I love that guy.
I remember Leo Flowers, and I'm doing this because I'm expecting a big phone call. Here, a couple of big phone calls. Leo Flowers had a great joke. He goes, "You'll never end racism because if you end race like wars or people talking about race, they would make it something else. He goes, they would be like, oh, did you hear this Scorpio did something to this Capricorn? Like they would make it something else.
Sure.
You know, like they already do it on planes. You got first class, you got comfort, and then you got everybody else.
And then domestic terrorists in the back.
Domestic terrorism in the back, burning up the Teslas in the back of the plane. But that's what it is. There's always classism. There's always going to be racism and things like that. But yeah, I just don't like how the word terrorism is being thrown around when burning up a few cars is not terrorism. Go to other Gaza right now. That's war. That's terrorism. That's all kinds of stuff happening. Yeah. People like we're so entitled in America. We think burning up a few cars is terrorism.
Yeah.
That just shows you how good of a life we have in America.
Sure.
Where we're like, oh, terrorism. It's like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
You don't know what but somebody can get shot on a bus, and that's not terrorism. A cop can kill somebody, and that's not terrorism. But you burning up. So now cars have more value than life.
Yeah.
How is that not terrorism?
Yeah, I liked it when we just sort of segregated terrorism to people that lived in the Middle East. That's what I want.
Okay, I do not support that statement.
That's what I just want that
I do not support Timothy McVeigh.
Yes.
Terrorism.
Yes.
Terrorism.
That's what I'm saying. I liked it when it was I liked it when it wasn't in my face. That's what I liked.
Oklahoma bombing was everybody's face.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Is like I liked it when it was because I remember the first time. When was the first time you ever heard terrorism? Do you remember the first place you ever heard it? Or knew what it was?
I mean, used a lot in 9/11.
Yeah, 9/11. Yeah. I didn't know about any of that stuff. So 9/11, I was 2 days from turning 21. When that happened, blew my mind. It blew everybody's mind because I was still at a fragile age where I was like, that can happen? Like,
oh yeah,
there's people out there that would do
because
this?
we're so spoiled in this country, and it's the best country in the world. Yeah. But that was terrorism.
Yeah.
But when you look at footage of kids playing in the street in other countries, and bombs are just going off in the background, and they're playing
soccer,
that's normal life to them.
Yeah. But the thing that really blew my mind was I was then watching Naked Gun 33 and the Third.
Oh my
remember
gosh,
that?
Yes. I remember that. It's so funny.
So the intro, the beginning of that movie is they're in Grand Central Station and they're waiting for a train, and now all of a sudden a terrorist attack breaks out. And there was a guy in like he was like, the stereotypical Middle Eastern garb, and I was like, oh my God, wait, what year did this come out? And then I was like, 1994, but terrorism didn't start until 9/11 of 20. Well, that's crazy. Yeah. And then I went and did a deep dive, and I was like, this has been going on since the 60s? I was wait a minute. It blew my mind that we are still at this point where this is the type of stuff that's been going on for the last how many every year?
Oh, it's always been going on.
Crazy.
Like, police brutality has been going NWA in the 80s was talking about stuff that still happening today.
Yeah.
So, I mean, nothing changes. It just gets repackaged, but now let me tell you what Republicans are so good. And this is not a political podcast, but I got to give them props for something. They are great at taking words and changing meanings.
Sure.
Like woke. Woke is a word that was for black people that said, hey man, stay woke. That means cops around the corner. Hey, watch out. Something you don't like, stay out of trouble. There's some sketchy people around the corner.
Sure.
Now it's this whole political word. There was another word a couple years ago on the last election cycle that got blown up. I forgot what it was, but it was another. They're great at changing the meaning of a word. Now terrorism, they're changing that word to fit their narrative. Mm-hmm. It's not terrorism burning up a couple. If you burn my Teslas up in my front yard right now, I would not call you a terrorist. I would call you a very angry person that's wrapped up in political news way too much. Yeah. But I would not call you a terrorist, unless I was in the car.
Sure.
Then I'd be like, yo, what? I still would. I'd say you're just an ass, but look. But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Speaking of words, let me ask your take on a word. We don't need to say the word out loud.
What?
I need to be able to tell you.
Is this where you drop the N-word, Rudy?
So, let me get your take on this. Somebody called me a certain word over the weekend that is along the lines of the N-word, but begins with a W.
Oh, yeah.
Where do we stand on that word? Because I heard it in a comedy special about 6 months ago, and I was like,
You never heard that word before?
No, I've heard that word many times. I don't know where we stand as a people to be able to use that word.
I think you can use it. I mean, you can use any word you want. I
Yeah.
mean, but like, but it doesn't offend. Like, I got to talk about white people again. Here's what's so amazing about white people.
Go on.
There are no words that really hurt your feelings.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Like the N word to black people, to my people, it's so like in the argument that, well, black people call each other black. I hate that argument. Mm-hmm. The thing is with that N word, it goes over history of how it came to be. Like there's a history of black people being slaves and going through all this and then still going through a lot of stuff that's not like, there's not a lot of justice a lot of times. You see black people get killed all the time, by police. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, oh, because of this. Yes, white people get killed too. I'm not saying that. Sure. Because some people are, you don't think white people, like I'm just talking like the people that would argue. Mm-hmm. You don't think white people, yes, white people do. But guess what? There's a lot more of them too. Mm-hmm. It's a lot less. Black people are only 13% of the country, but they get killed just as much as white people. That's 80% of the country or 70 something percent of the country, 65. So that's a problem. But what I want to say is, and I'm totally finding what I want to say because I totally forgot because I got hot about it. What did you say? See,
well, if you're saying it's okay to say, I think it's okay to say.
No. So what I'm saying is there's a history with the N-word.
Yeah.
Right? White people are great at taking a word like that doesn't, like the word they used to call white people was honky. Right?
Had somebody call me that like last week, yeah.
A white person though?
No, black person.
Okay, honky, right?
Hilarious. Old black lady.
Old black, you a honky,
yeah,
right? Honky is not, like white people here in Atlanta, they actually made music called honky tonk. They took the word, they took a word we thought would hurt them and they go, oh, we're going to make music about that. We're going to call it honky tonk.
Yeah.
Like that's how, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So there are no powerful words to really hurt white people's feelings like a derogatory word because they've always been in control. That's what I honestly feel.
Yeah. If you call me, somebody could call me any sort of derogatory word, cracker, honky, whatever. I
think like cracker. I mean, they got Cracker Barrel. Yeah. Like every word that could hurt your feelings, there's no N barrel. Nah. They would never make an N barrel. They'll make a Cracker Barrel though. Like every word, like I could make up a word today and y'all would make a music about it, a restaurant and use the word in it.
Yeah.
That's what's so deep. Y'all like, oh, you can't hurt our feelings. We're going to actually take that word and make a business out of it. Cracker Barrel. Mm-hmm. I need to add that to my set. I like that. But it's serious. There's no word because it's hard to make fun of a race of people when they've always been in control.
Yeah.
What are you going to, where they were the slave masters. They were the head of everything. And I hate to sound like this because this is not that kind. But it's also something that's true. Like it's hard to make fun of somebody like Elon Musk. You can make fun of him. Dude's 334 billion in, and not that money is everything, but he's a very successful guy. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like you're a dork and you're like sitting in your shack at home. Like
I know people who have done nothing have so many opinions about a guy who's created jobs. And I think what hurts any person worse than a race joke is something personal. Like, oh yeah, you call me short.
Not short. If I Rudy, you're a shitty dad.
Yeah,
like, that hurts.
That hurts me. Yeah, calling me something that is in my control, but yet you think of it that is a tough one. Yeah,
see, that hurts. If somebody called me a crappy dad or shit, oh man, I would lose it.
Yeah, of course.
Like or when I get, how do your kids feel you traveling so much? It's like, yo.
Yeah.
Yo.
I know. Yeah.
You need to stop.
Yeah.
You need to stop. All right, so I'm off my soapbox.
Okay.
I had to say it. Look, I love white people. I married one. I love all people.
Yeah, I had one.
Rudy's one. If you don't know, look at Rudy. I'm using the white excuse. Look, I got white friends. I got white friends. I married one. I got white friends. I got white friends. I do a podcast with one.
Voice is really high.
Yeah. I got white friends. I like white people. All right, I want to bring this up. So my son has a bunch of socks, and he put a hole in a sock. And my wife's like, I go, throw both of them away. She's like, no, let's just throw one away. I go, no, both of them away. She's like, no, let's keep the one sock. So my thing, what type of person are you? Do you get rid of the socks or do you keep the one sock to make everything odd? Because I'm like, no socks are going to match then. Mm-hmm. You're going to wind up with a drawer full of just one sock.
Mismatched socks. Yeah.
Yes. Throw them away.
Yeah, it's cute when you're 7.
Yes.
Probably not so much. I got to a place, I have my rules about things that establish that you have made it in life. Like when your microwave and your TV both hang on the wall, that means that you've made it in life.
Wait a minute. A microwave hangs on the wall?
Well, like, you know how it's suspended above?
Oh, it's not on your couch. Okay, okay,
because
gotcha.
for the longest time, my TV and my microwave sat on the same bench. Like so now that both are hanging separately, that's a sign that you've made it in life. And I got to a point where I know that I had made it when I put on a pair of socks and there was a hole in it. And from that moment on, I always told myself, you will give it one last wear as a nice little hoorah to say thank you so much for all the time you spent on my feet, on my tootsies, my piggies. I
will remember you.
And then immediately after that, you have to go in the trash and it's time to move on.
So one or two?
Both socks must be thrown away.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My wife has this one sock, wants to keep one sock. I'm like, why do you keep one sock? Now you're going to have a drawer full, unless all your socks are the same.
Sure. Yeah, if you got like the white Nike with I get that. But yeah, if you are one of those, kitsy kind of, I don't even know if that's a word, but if you're one of those dudes who has like during the holidays you have Christmas socks and then Halloween, you can't have a Halloween sock and a Christmas sock. I'm sorry. We're just no.
Okay,